Yo, so welcome back, man, to Mic Check, man. Man, listen, I don't even know where to start, man. I've been watching you guys for years, man. And how can I put it? I play ball, I play high school ball, right? Made the team. I was a freshman, I made varsity. But the grades, man, the grades messed me up big time, bro. Big time. And I was telling Shane this as a matter of fact behind the scenes, right? Not growing up with a father, man, that messed me up big time. Not having that father figure. I mean, you have people from the block, right? Because I was born and raised I live in Jersey now, but I was born and raised in the Bronx, in the South
Okay.
Bronx. So you know how that go, man. Super tough, right? The South Bronx is like Newark. Facts. You got Newark,
Mhm.
Irvington, every other block. Now I live in Jersey. So I kind of see it, man. It's the similarities for sure. It's gritty, it's grimy. You know what I mean? I don't know where you at, man. If you don't mind, you located in Jersey, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Jersey. I'm in the Linden area.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that by Clifton?
No, it's by between it's about 20 minutes from Newark Airport.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
today,
about 20.
y'all, today we have a legend, man. A legend in the building. Someone who helped change the face of street ball for sure. For sure. And made a mark in in the world of basketball culture for sure. None other than main event, man. Is it Wiley or is Wiley?
It's Arabic, it's Wali. But Wali is good, it's
Wiley?
Wali.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wiley,
Wali.
main event Dixon, man. You know,
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I want to start it off like this, right?
Okay.
What was your first dunk and how did it feel?
My first dunk, I remember coming from football practice because I played football as well, coming from football practice, and I had my cleats on and I dunked the ball. But before that, we used to jump off the like my garage, or we used to go to the gyms and jump off the wall and dunking and stuff. But my actual dunk was coming from football practice and cleats, and that was my first dunk.
You play high school football?
Yeah, I
Oh, that's
stopped playing in like I want to say ninth, 10th grade. I stopped.
so you chose ball.
Yeah, because the reason why I chose ball was we used to have practice. They used to have double sessions.
Right.
So we would practice early in the morning. We'd go home at lunch and then come back when it's real hot. So I'm like, nah, this ain't really adding up. It's like hot as heck out here. And I had the water, the helmets with the water in it and, all this different stuff. So one day I just was like, this is enough, you know what I mean? And we don't play in the winter. I mean, we don't play in the summertime. So
Correct. Yeah.
it was something funny. But a lot of people thought my coach at the time had stopped me from playing football. But it was my own choice. I play defensive end and quarterback.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. How you get your nickname main event?
I got my nickname main event from playing at Rucker Park. Al Cash, 155th and A5. They gave out Duke Tango and Al Cash gave out a lot of names that y'all hear, especially within the last 20 years. Like the half man, half amazing, just Shane the Drill Machines. To give you a example, but legends.
Who was the DJ at the time, man? Was it Who Kid?
Um, Who was the DJ at Rucker? I'm not sure, but I know Who Kid was a part of our mixtape tour with AND1 Who Kid. I met Who Kid years ago in New York City, but I'm not sure who the DJ was at Rucker. But Rucker was a show. You never know who might pop up. So I don't know who was
Yeah.
playing the music, but it was a vibe. As soon as you step foot into that park, as soon as you step foot anywhere in that area in Harlem, it was a vibe.
Yeah, you had all the big names popping out for sure. You had Kobe.
This is the real era.
That's crazy. Yeah. You guys set it off though, man. I was in a music game. Excuse me, pardon me. I was in a music game since 98. I was a music producer.
Okay.
So I was around that atmosphere. I was around you guys, but obviously I was way too young. I was what? I'm 39 now, so
I'm
98.
51.
Wow. You look
Word.
good though, bro.
Thank you. Thank you.
You look the same.
Thank
Look
you.
at you now,
Thank
brother.
you.
You look the same. It's crazy, man. Um, Yeah, so I was around you guys, but I was just way too young. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 13 at the time, so I was way, 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 way too young. But I remember Who
Mm-hmm.
Kid being around the scene. I did a lot of joints for I don't even know if I should name drop, but I did a lot of joints that you probably have on your phone now that you listen to. You know what I'm saying? I was behind a lot of big records. I didn't get the credit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because again, I was too young. So
Yes.
I didn't have no guy. Again, going back to the whole father thing, I didn't have no guidance. Yeah, I had the homies because I was also a
Mm-hmm.
gangbanger for 20 years. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I gangbanged for so many years, man. And I'm this is why I pray. I don't know if you really took your time to go down like I guess my Instagram, right? But I praise God so much, as you can see right behind.
Oh, most definitely, definitely.
I went through so much, man. Like I've lost so many. See, I was what we're talking in the 90s, right? So 13, 14, 15, I was a crit. So you had Jersey, New York, Connecticut, and really gang bang like that, but Jersey and New York were mostly bloods, you know what I'm saying, at the time. So I was
Mm-hmm.
dolo. I was for dolo by myself, like
Mm-hmm.
trying to recruit certain kids, right? To join and which is stupid, you know what I mean? But I was doing that. I was trying to recruit whoever, you know what I mean, from New York, Jersey, Irvington, Newark. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
just a whole, there's so many different gangs everywhere, all over the tri-state area. But so I was facing that. You know what I'm saying? But I truly wanted to play ball. This is why I told Shane I admire you guys so much because you guys, I'm sure you were surrounded by all of that, right? I'm just sure. And besides, not only that, but the '80s I think was way tougher than the '90s. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I came up through the '80s, but the '90s. No, I definitely understand what you were saying. What you're saying. I tell people we have similar stories with different music behind it. You being a
Wow.
youngster, when we was actually some involved with those different situations. You know what I mean? That's where we start glorifying some of our idols. When you're young and you sit back and you know what you want to do, but you see everything around you and you see movement. People in 2025 and a couple years ago, people start using different term words like, yo, I got movement, I got action, we lit. It's always been that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just that you're different ages as you start maturing, you start seeing things different than you did um, when you was 13 years old. Who your role models was, being that pops wasn't there. Even though they got bro next door, but he's still like not pops. Then that animosity builds up, and then you linking up with other homies who feel in the same situation. So now we got to figure out how can we get motion with what's
right,
going on to where now the older homies are supposed to be like, look, this is what it is. But you're here, and I tell people everything that we go through, the creator doesn't make any mistakes. So it's about the journey. A lot of people be focused on the destination, but the destination changes. So it's the journey. This right here is part of God's journey for us to be able to be speaking right now. And you being able to, through maturity, through trials and tribulations, through maybe losing someone you love or doing whatever you thought was being popular. Um, and you learn because you're here and you have a testimony and you're able to say what you used to be, what we used to do. That's just how in music, a lot of our youth is getting misconfused because the artist is saying it like they're currently doing these things if they doing these things, but they could just use a simple word. I
right.
used to. I remember when. So through the music, through you sharing your testimony, I have testimonies, and we have to make praising and talking about the creator, talking about God popular. When I was growing up, when I was 13, 12, I was blessed to have both of my parents, my grandparents in my life, not my grandfather on my dad's side, but my mother and my father never lived together. But I also had my homies and my friends who didn't have that. But it was a little bit different moving from South Carolina, Jersey. It was just a little bit different, but it still had the same things. The same things was going on, and the creator picks and chooses who and how he navigate us. Like we couldn't think, imagine that. You used to watch us on a TV, and then we here talking about, never even said what the topic is going to be. We just letting the creators say, hey, listen, this is what I want you guys to talk about, and we're gonna roll with it. This is lit to me. You feel me?
Amazing, man. Yeah, man. Not gonna lie, I'm getting a little emotional, you know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And this is why I praise him, because he took me out of so many jams. Jesus, wow. Like I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not, absolutely not. You see, I went to LA from 13 to 17. Um, and that's why I became a gangbanger. So I have origins of LA, like where it, started. And out here was so different, right? Because like over there, like they really take color banging serious, right? You can't wear certain hats. You've been all around the world, so you can't
Mm-hmm.
wear certain hats, certain fitteds. Even something like this, and I'm repping Mets right now, but even something like this, you can't wear something
Mm-hmm.
like that, because then that's beef, that's issues. Over here, to me, it was a little different, because when I came back I was 17, so I knew a little more, experienced a little more, and me seeing the Bloods and the Crips unite, right? Because they were from the same building, same block, or whatever the case may be. To me, that was dope. But I was scared that if I was to bring that back to LA, it would have been an issue. Nowadays, 2025, rest in peace, Nip. But you have Nip, I'm sorry, you had Nipsey Hussle and YG together. These are two, they hate each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't,
Mm-hmm.
but their crews hate each other. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it should have been like that since the beginning, right? A lot of people don't know that CRIP actually stands for Community Revolution in Progress. You know what I'm saying? So it's in the word itself. You know what I'm saying? For the community, not to bang on your brother, whether you black, Latino, Asian, Hispanic, you name it. You know what I mean? So yes, it's going into the right direction. Let's just say, even though the overall is whack. You know what I'm saying? Me and you both know it, but it's going into the right direction as far as people getting along a little more, right? But now going back to what you just said, different era, different music. You have drill now, drill music, which I'm sure you're not too fond about, right? I know you're not.
Nah, it's when I first heard about it. See, it all stems back from, all right, so let me say it. You definitely on point. See, we have there was things that I call it control chaos, right? What I'm getting ready to say is control chaos. So we have things that happened in the 80s and the 90s when the drugs were distributed into our communities, right? The crack cocaine, it was an epidemic. It was crazy. Everybody was going wild. So what you have now is some of the offspring from that generation, and what we're experiencing is a health is a health issue. Is a health issue that ends up in a criminal activity. What I mean by that,
Yeah,
um, as men, black men, Latino, whatever, there's something built up in us, right? It's also built up in us chemically, is built in us, emotionally is built in us, and then it deals with mental health, right? When people don't understand. See, when I was younger, I had cousins and people. They'd be like, "Yo, that's crazy, such and such a," "Oh, he crazy, such and such a." It wasn't popular to say what that was. What was that? So we could tell our children, like, listen, make sure you go see the doctor and they check for X, Y, and Z. So now when you mix all of this up, it's like a cocktail. When you mix all of this up, you got depression, you got poverty, you got drugs, you have and then you come up, then you have the gangs where I know exactly what you mean. Blood is belly love, override depression. What was the gangs about? The gangs, community restoration in progress, community revolution in progress. When 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 you go back and look at it from the West Coast side of the motherland, you look at that, it became a way of life. It had a purpose. Even though the purpose wound up being, from what people see, as a negative outcome, right? But it had a purpose. So we have to get back to that purpose of what it was. And if you look at the way things is going right now in the world, if the homies ever needed to come together as one, all sets, all sets, now is the time. Now is the time because now we have to get back to what it was really for. To protect our communities. Infiltrators coming in and taking our community. It's time for us to build. I spent a lot of time in Compton.
Oh
Shout out to
wow.
Compton Ballers.
Yeah.
Also got an opportunity to be around some of Nip people. I see business. I saw what Nips. I'm not looking at colors. I'm not looking at what you have on. I'm with those of stature, but I was able to go from the era. I'm like, you talking 20 now, maybe 21. No one's seen and going to talk to Compton High School, going to the Magnet School, going to Long Beach. But I was in the community, so I skated through that era where they was really banging like they really was getting it in colors type the movie type stuff.
Yeah.
But then I
Yeah.
also looked at it and said, wow, these are nice neighborhoods. They look like nice neighborhoods, but you could really get caught up. But we have to go back, and you know what it's going to take. I think what it's going to take is going to take everybody saying, look, we throwing the towel in, we coming together, do what y'all do, get money, let's do it together, however we do it, but let's remember it's about the community. But it's going to take someone who lost someone, because that's how it started. When you look at the history of it, someone on one side did something to one another, woo woo woo, you get mine, I get two of yours, you know the lingo. So
Yeah.
how do we reverse that? And it have to be someone maybe like yourself, someone who actually. I was talking with some of the guys in here, my man PMB Louie. They got the podcast out here in Jersey, and we was talking about this, and I can see his emotion. He's like, I hear you, man. I hear what you're saying, but the guys coming home who did something to my brother. My brother's no longer here. Like
Yeah.
where it's going to take that. It's going to really take who said that they big homies. Like, are we self using this energy to self destruct, or are we going to build? Let's build. Let's mourn for one another. Let's wear LIP shirts, live in peace shirts. You know what I mean? Let's build. This is an era of, you see the new generation coming in as big homies. We can't be a part of that recycling, because
Right. Right.
look at you now. You're older now, right? And look, the younger homies don't even get an opportunity sometimes to even have a conversation like this.
Amen. You're right. You're right. Do you think, man, it starts with to me, this is my big homie. You think it starts with God himself? You think it starts with him first? They should seek him first and then possibly make that change that we're talking about.
It's um I think it's going to definitely, it starts and ends with the creator. Um we have to change our cultural thinking. We have to change our cultural thinking of what's gully, what's gangster, what's super dope. For me, you know what's gangster for me at 51 years old? Chilling at the crib. You know what I'm saying? On the grill. To me, that's the most gangster it might get with me. You know what I mean?
That's
That's
dope, man.
gangster. But what happens is, and this may be I'm godly fed, can I quote scriptures, whatever, but things that the creator have given me, I know it's somewhere in the scripture. So you have, what we have is the loss, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the loss is out there. So the losses could get itself, and we get free will, and the loss get caught into different things. And the way they have it is that sometimes we have to go through certain things to where we see God, because that is the only person, because man can lie, man can forget, man can repeat, man can do this and that, right? To where you can blame someone. So we may be boxed in to where the only person that, out of all the things we tried, out of all the late night infomercials came on and said they could heal your back pain, out of all of that, we tried all of that, even the doctors, we tried all of that, drugs, alcohol, we tried everything. And then it gets to the point where now I try everything in human, in mankind, that I can try. I'm only stuck with two things now. Either I'm going to trust and believe in God, or I'm going to go and dibble and dabble with the devil. Because the closer that we get to the Creator and spreading His glory and spreading His word, it doesn't make it that we're easy. It's easy for Christians. It's easy for us. It's not easy for us because it's not that we see God uses us because we are to some people we're just regular people. Yo, he's cool. He just smoked smoked a dude but drink a beer. So he's not godly. Hey, sorry. He's not holy. He's sinning. No, because sometime when I had that beer, I'm talking to people. I have people around, and when they feel as though that I'm able to express, wow, I had that thought. Wow, I ain't know I could talk about that. So they're gonna have to seek. Yes, to answer your question, yes, he's involved. Yes, he's involved because somebody, yes, he's involved because he's those. Because see, a lot of with us is that we don't believe in things that we can't see,
Right.
nor touch, nor feel. But if you go outside, you don't see the wind blowing. You see it blowing the wind, the trees and stuff like that. You could tell. You know what I'm saying? But the Creator, it's like having a big basketball goal, right? Yo, all you got to do is just seek him. He already
That's
gave you
it.
the assist.
That's
He
it.
gave you the assist. You know what I'm saying? But we go and especially as men, young males, young men, teenage boys, whatever, we're curious. So the thing is very important when I get back to the big homies. It's very, very important that maybe the big homie. Like for me, my homies out in California, they like it almost in their 60s, 50s, 70s, first and second generation. So I'm able to see what it was about, where is that now, to where I'm aptly involved with trying to get it back to what you said, community revolution in progress, or brotherly love override depression. We're trying to get those back, the MS-13s, and not the S-Style. We're trying to bring all of them back. Then we got the GDs over in Chicago. My guy Joseph Capone and them. If we could get everybody on the course, yo, rep your set. Rep your crew. But how can we do this positive to where everybody talk about generational wealth? Let's talk about generational togetherness, generational truceness, generational what I want for my brother, what I want for myself, I want for my brother. We got to get back to
Right.
the simplicity of life and knowing that is guided by whether you call him Allah, you call him God, someone is guiding us and he's using us as a vessel to really get a chance to see the picture, the bigger picture.
Right. 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 No, I agree with you clearly. You know, I'm actually absorbing some gems that you're speaking. Um, it I had a conversation with one of the homies, right? He's not affiliate, just regular friend.
Yeah, for sure.
And he said, see, I think it starts with again exactly what you said, believing, having faith. Because I asked him, I said, hey, maybe you should. So he's going through like a tough breakup. He hated his life at this point, right? So he's at the position where he's in the position where you start crying out for the man above, right? Like, please help me. Like, if there's someone out there, please. And he said to me, yeah, Mike, but he's fake though. And I'm like, well, what do you mean he's fake? Like, yeah, that book is not real. Okay, so you know what? All right, cool. So he's fake. All right. So what about? I said, do you believe in George Washington? Do you believe in Abraham Lincoln? Do you believe they exist? And he said, yeah. So it's the same concept. You wasn't there, so how would you know they real? Right? So I'm like, dog, you at that point where, and I kept it real with him. I mean, he's my homie, so I feel like I can speak to him that way. But you at the point where, dog, you really need him. You know what I mean? Like I can't help you financially, right? I mean, I could try, I could try to bless you with a few dollars here and there, but I mean, you have a wife, you have kids, I'm not a divorce lawyer, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not any of that. So I can't help you in that sense, but I can speak to you and say, look, it worked for me. He's using me to bring others to him, right? Which in fact it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had so on my I can send you a flick of like my DMs. Like there's people because people know me because of music, but I do have some of the homies that know me because of banging or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, music. Mike, I need a beat. Mike, I need this. Mike, I need that. And it's crazy. You know what, man? Like some of them ask me for a beat. I have sent out like a few beats because I'm back on it again.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, Mike, how much I owe you? Now I'm good, bro. You straight. Don't even worry about it. Just give me some points. Give me credit. And they seem shocked, man, like surprised, like, yo, what? Like, why? Like, how? Dog, I don't need it. I'm good. I'm fine. Like he
It was the
helped me
connection.
enough. That's it. You know what I'm
You
saying?
use
Like
that for the connection.
the conversation. Yeah, exactly. The conversations is dope. So I'm not gonna charge you. Why should I? A real dude should like. I mean, I get it. If Kanye needs a beat, then I'm charging Kanye. You know what I'm saying? That's just common sense. But for somebody that don't even have a job, or you feel like if
Yeah.
or if you whatever you
We'll have
doing.
to have conversation with this conversation. You know what I'm saying?
There you go, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna charge you, but going back to my homie, I'm like, dog, like you at that plate at that spot where you need them, bro. It's working for me, right? And here's the thing, though, man. I just want to give you a quick. I don't know if you if see the audience for some reason, and I've noticed the social media hate God for some reason, right? And this is the elites that I'm talking about, and I'm gonna talk crazy right now. You can blame it on me, man. I take that shot. I
I'm
believe
right with
I
you.
believe in God heavy, so the media hate God for some reason, and it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I care less about them fools, but um, you know, I'm so big on man. Listen, my my testimony, man. Like, well, you know some of it. So last year, I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, right? Which is I don't know if you know what that is, but it's your intestines swell up and you start losing weight. So one day I wake up and I'm like, damn, I don't feel good. I'm like, I feel weird, right? It so happens that I lost about 30 pounds in a week, man. So I said to myself, it's either two things. But at the time, I had a wife. I mean, I've been with my wife for 12 years. So I said, it's not cheating, right? Because you start thinking about the monster and all, you know what I mean? You start thinking about all these. So it's either, you know what I'm saying, man? Like it's either that or it's cancer, right? Because you 30 pounds in a week, you're like, there's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? I go to the doctor. He's like, Mike, yeah, you have mild Crohn ileitis. However you pronounce it. I said, okay, cool. I did my own search. I Googled it and it showed Crohn's disease. So I started, searching and going on the web. And I'm like, wow. So if there's some people that walk around with a poop bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's because of that. Either that or they got shot, right? One of the two. But for the most part, it's because of that. So I said to myself, oh man, like I'm done. You know what I mean? Like this is it for me. Like, and sometimes it can get so deadly that, you can die. You know what I mean? You get a severe infection and you're out, completely out. So there's one time I'm in the shower, man, right? I get on my knees. I've always believed in God, but, I heard it from, my grandma, my moms and XYZ, but I never really sat down and look at the book, right? Because, see, the Bible to me is basic instructions before leaving. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yo, tell Quentin to tell Mark, yeah. He just somebody said, what you doing? Left me on break?
Yeah, I'm about to
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
So
tell him to tell Mark, yeah.
So the Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I believe everything in that book, but I never picked it up. So that one day I got on my knees and I said, God, look, if you real, reveal yourself. And it so happens, man, I kid you not, this is true story. Like he showed up in my dreams. He showed up in person. I'm talking about Jesus Christ. He showed up everywhere. And I was like, yo, this is it. Like, I'm just going to give my life to you. I went back to the doctor. The doctor's like, Mike, I don't know what you did, but you don't have Crohn's anymore. So I lasted with Crohn's, man, for 2 weeks.
Word up.
He was like, yo, you straight. I don't know what you did, but whatever you did, I can give it to my patients. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
And I said, look, it's just God, man. Like, but they see certain people take it as a joke. Like, oh yeah, God, yeah, nah. See, I've tried it. I've tried them. No, you have not. Trust me, you have not.
That's
You
somebody
have
you
it.
can't. That's somebody you can't fool. What happens is we don't understand. You don't have faith. They said the size of a mustard seed. So
Yes, sir.
when we ask God for things, not knowing that He already gave us everything we need to get what we want. Once again, He gave us everything that we need to get what we want. So most people get it twisted when they say, "Oh God, man, I want to get this new car, or I want to help this, and da 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 da." It doesn't work that way. But He love you enough to where He can make it work that way, but it don't work that way. But I tell you how He do work. When you could be sitting at home like, "Dang, man, I got this can of beans out for right tonight." Check or something might come in the mail. Something like, "Oh, what's this from? Oh, this is some you paid too much on something to where it's a $1,400 or $1,800 check or a $200 check." See, we try to seek the things that, if you really look at it, you asking God for a car. You could go work and get that. If you have the ability to do it, you could work and go get that. You could do this and the third. And God isn't microwave. He don't have to be microwave. He already have it already in his script, in his scroll. It's there already. He don't have to go look it up. He don't have to do anything. One day is 1,000 years in his eyes, they say, right? So he don't have to do any of that stuff. Any way we could think we could be slick or this, that, and the third. No.
You
No.
know
And
scripture,
and back
man.
to
You know
your
scripture. You know scripture. I
back to
like
your
that.
and back to your homie too, real quick before I get off my heart. Back to him. His first reversal is love. And he had to look in the mirror and love himself. Because you said that he hated himself, or it could have been exaggerated. But just to even have that thought, because if one hates themselves, that means that they were inherent hate for others, which could end them in a hateful situation, right? Or place. So if you keying it all around the love and the creator, all you're gonna have is the love. So if he's not around people where it's love, if you're not around expressing the love, that means that if it's just hate, a blessing to have someone like you to understand what he's going through spiritually, because we could be around our homies and they could understand and relate what we're doing physically. See, that's easy. Yo, homie, they just tried to just caught me slacking over here. Whoop de woo. I'm going to get the homies. I pull up. Everybody's ready to go. Everybody turned up. Everybody
Yeah.
on tilt.
Yeah,
But when
yeah.
you looking at it and you're helping him from a spiritual side, now he's there. You're dealing with his conscience. So when he was talking about, man, I hate myself. No, he don't, because he's looking at it from a different aspect than the people he's around. Is a difference. And that's where you'll help him. That's where the creator said, I need you to be a part of this journey. Because if it was a destination, that means once we get to whatever destination it is, it's over. He don't have we're done. And when we get when he get done with us, it's done. It's over.
Yeah.
So we got to take advantage of the journey that the creator allow us and puts us on these different paths. Because as you mature, how old are you now? You said
39.
31?
39.
39. So as you mature from when you first started banging, your mindset, the male don't they hemoglobin don't even register at 25 years old. So through those aspects, when you said not having a father present, and what you say is brought up in the streets, and your mom is had to be a strong woman because you're here. But what made you do that crossover, whether it's Allen Iverson or Kyrie Irving, you're here now because now you tapping into with the creator. So so your journey, you're still on. Those that don't understand on the spiritual side, they just out there. They navigate, they don't even need a navigation because they could just go anywhere and they're at their destination. We can't move
Amen.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
God's our
yeah.
GPS, the creator's our GPS. We gotta roll with him. We don't he already guided us there. We just gotta get there. But it's destinations, it's journeys versus destination.
Now that's dope, man. You know what? Just to cross over now, right? You mentioned Kyrie.
hmm
Is he the best skill player in the NBA right now?
Um, this for things get a little tricky because I don't really watch too much basketball. But listen,
Wait, what?
uh, I never really followed it. But the thing is this. This is the thing. This is the thing.
That
That's
is
the little bro right there.
crazy.
Shout out to his pops. That's a little bro. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna um. I'm gonna say he's a great athlete, man, because some of his artwork came from our etches, through the
100%.
streetball stuff like that. So I'm always like um I say they all the best because see that's the thing with us. Not saying with you, but
Well,
sometimes we
man,
get to
he from
where
Jersey, correct?
Jersey, by the way, New York. Yeah, he played with Sandy Payoni, the New Jersey Roadrunners and stuff
Okay,
like that.
okay.
But I'm gonna answer it from a sports aspect because some issues we have besides the sports aspect is that we're caught into competing with one another versus competing with one another. If you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
to answer your question, all right, from a sports side, I think Kyrie Irving definitely is one of the nicest out there right now because his size, his heart, his IQ of the game. He took not saying took swag. He allowed some of the street ball culture to be displayed. Him and the other players. So I salute him, and he's definitely I would say in the top probably five from what I've seen. Watching his talent out there.
Well, we asked Shane his top 5 ball handlers, right?
Mhm.
So he was there. Kyrie was there. Can I ask you the same question?
Yes, yeah, I
The,
don't mind. I'm open
the
book.
top
It don't
top
matter.
5 ball handlers.
Who
What do
my top five
yeah,
ball handlers?
your top 5 ball handlers, yeah.
Oh man, from where? Like any era or just basketball period?
Any
Or
era, because I think Shane hit me with every era. Yeah, yeah,
all right,
every and
whoa,
any, yeah.
top five ball handlers, man. Shoot, I'm gonna keep it 100. This might be being biased, yo. I gotta put my son number one. I'm gonna keep it funky with you. They
Your
call him
son?
Rockstar. They call him Rockstar Q. He was a little one that was on AND1 Mixtapes. Actually, you know, he was doing a crip walk joint doing the foul shots. When you go back to volume 2, you're gonna see him. But nah, like hey, listen, they might think I'm bugging, but I'm not though. So let's start. Let's get him out the way. I'm gonna say he number one.
All right, all
Um,
right.
then I like see I'm an era of Allen Iverson.
Facts. That's a fact.
AI. See, Kyrie's part of the new era, but Hardaway.
Ooh.
Uh,
Yeah,
um,
indeed.
uh,
Hardaway for sure.
uh. Let me see. Now let me get somebody from the I seen go crazy. Oh, um, hmm. No, yo, I would be wrong, man. Like somebody I seen with some poised talent that I don't think get a lot of credit. That should get a lot of credit. Who was my point guard with the New York Gauchos? Is Stephon Marbury.
Oh, shout out to Steph, man. You still cool with
You know.
Steph?
Yeah, yo, I don't got no problems with nobody,
No.
man.
I'm saying like you still like keep in
Yeah,
contact.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying.
We got a respectful relationship. You know, whether it's social media or tap in like what up. But nah, this bro, you know, he See, I had the opportunity to be around a lot of those guys. You know, and that's a hard question for me. Yeah, Sham Guard was my point guard. You know what I mean? So, Kareem Reed. I'll just say that I had the opportunity, and I think all of those guys are great ball handlers. I say they all great. They may not be point guards,
Right.
but they all have contributed to not only the street basketball culture, but also to the game of basketball.
What about I got one more. What about
Yep.
JC, Jamal Crawford?
JC, I like his hand. He got that swag, you know. Yeah, definitely. I'll put him out there. Yeah.
Did he
He
ever
got
play with
nice
y'all?
hand. No, I think he's a little younger.
Okay. Yeah, because you
I think
guys,
he's a little younger.
I think you guys had who? Kobe. I seen Kobe there for sure.
Kobe played out there. You talking about Rucker? Yeah. He played at Rucker. He played at
Yeah.
Rucker. Yeah, he definitely played at Rucker. Jamal Crawford. Yep. That was my year I wanted with Elton Brand, Kareem Reed, Ron Artest. Who else we had? Now we had a crew. Um, yeah, we had a crew. We had a crew. Like my guy's Mousie's dream team, and he was known to get the young guys, and that's who introduced me to Rucker when I was 15 years old. So I give all credit to me just introduced to basketball in New York City. I gotta give it to Mousie, man.
You know, Shane was telling me some stories, right? Shane is
Yeah.
wild, man. Shane is dope. He was it Sam Cassell? I think it
Oh
was
yeah,
Sam
Quinny Tobar.
Cassell,
Yeah.
right? It was Sam Cassell. Y'all went to Chicago, and
Yeah, yo.
they was looking for Sam.
And he was like, "What?" Sam? He's like, "Yo." And they was like, "Nah, yo, word." He's like, "Yo, Sam." I mean, I think, um,
Sam was a street dude.
yeah, Sam. Yeah, Sam. Now, yeah, you'll be surprised where,
Yeah, I think Sam was a
uh,
GD or something like he must have been because you in Chicago, so you wild, you crazy. You went to Cabrini Projects.
Yeah. That was our joint though. Caprini, yo, they show love. Listen, you know how they say real recognize real, and before
Hmm.
that, say as far as on the East Coast, people had like crews and stuff. You know what I mean? They had like crews, and then when the movie Colors came out, that was crazy. Then you got Boys in the Hood.
Oh
So you
yeah.
mix all that stuff up, but back to the ball, man. A lot of those guys. You gotta remember during those times, the 80s, the 90s, they was like, yo, whoever was the athlete, he gonna get us out of whatever situation it is that we're in, you know? So it was kind of it was glorified, like, yo, y'all gonna go do this, don't do that. But now it seems like it all goes back to uh it goes back to us coming together, banding together. Once I used the term before, compete with me, not with me.
Right.
Because
Right.
we competing with one another. What's really the growth? So that let us know that we have to have a plan, whether it's through basketball, sports, entertainment, education, whatever it is. We're once again being used through the creator to better have this dialogue. And what makes sometimes we may try to start something, right? And people may say, "Oh man, it's taking too long," or "Why this didn't happen," or this, that, and the third. See, they don't know. When you working with that frequency, it take us a little longer to do things because on our plate is just not our plate. We have to teach people how to fish. We have to. We're bringing a crew with us. We bringing the masses. We rattling the troops up. So it's not just us. Our
Right.
plate is there already. But the creator said, "Listen, this is what I want you to do. I'm giving you guys an ingredient. I don't want you to have to be
Yeah.
called upon every time someone wants to eat. I want you guys to take upon this ingredient and teach each and every one each portion of the ingredient so they can make their own. What are they making? They're showing that they're going through what they've been through, telling their testimonies, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's in this ingredient? Being kind, being polite, being respectful, getting back to what it says, Bible. Because we can easily say, yo, I want change in my life. I want this, I want that. But some don't know how. Some don't know who to cry to. Changing the cultural thinking, changing our environments, people, places, and things can dictate one's outcome. That's very important. The three P's.
Very. Very.
Also, pause, pivot, and pray. Three P's. So with those things, we mixing it up. So this is good dialogue, man. This is super dope.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Listen, I'm soaking it in too, man. I'm soaking it in
Oh,
too.
likewise, man. Likewise, bro.
What moment made you feel like you had made it in street ball? Like what do you remember that moment that you was like, oh, I made it. Like this is it.
See, the moment that I said I made it, going into the game, it wasn't like if you work somewhere for 25 years, you get a 401k and you got the plan. Like there really wasn't there wasn't none of that. There wasn't really no statue. Like I remember 30 years ago or 20 years ago, being a street ball, considered a street ball legend, that just meant that you wasted your talent. But we was able to, through the blessings of the creator, we was able to bring and put a value on the culture, getting corporate America involved with the culture. Whether some wind up being culture vultures, but this is where we took it to where it's being recognized now as a professional sport.
Right.
So going into the gate, I would be lying saying that, oh yeah, I want. What was the ladder? So now I'm understanding that the creator is using me to help create this atmosphere, create these opportunities. But now that question you asked me can be asked, like when to the next generation, to the next whoever, because now there is things you can physically see, proof of concept where, okay, this is what you did, okay, you're considered one of the elite. Us, it was we was balling. This is something that we love to doing, and an opportunity came, and I instead of having the opportunity be about me, it was once again the creator used me to open up a lane for other ones. Hey, hold on, 1 second, 1 second, give me 1 second. You record you editing this, right?
Yeah. It gets
Okay, all
edited.
right, 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. This is true. I can look to it. That When I should have. So, no, That's bad news, my guys. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
That definitely, man. Who? Well, you probably let me see. I don't know if you'll probably answer this one, but who was the hardest player you faced during the M1 era?
The hardest player I faced during the AND1 era.
See, I want to say it wasn't an NBA player or something. I want to say it was somebody from like a different city or something like that. Am I right?
See, all right, so now when you say the N one, so now we got it. Now we're going to dive into something. All right, so volume one, right? You got volume one, was introduced to the world. You know, Skip to my Lou, my bro. I was a part of that tape, but not far as on the business side, not far as the team, this and that third. So you got volume two came out. So from volume, let's say two to like volume four, you getting real. Hold on one second. Get down. Wait, what's that? Hold on one second. I got my little killer right there. You know, and I got mini Poodle, man. It's my guy. So so volume I say two through four, if you're looking just it was a storyline, but we was playing real ballers. So
Yeah,
some I couldn't even mention their names, but we was playing real ballers. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
So but to give you a scenario, so maybe this can answer your question too. We would get like a week break. We was on the road for 3 months. We do 25 games when it was at its hype time. You know, for like 5 years we was doing this. And I remember I was on break, and I think Octane was hurt. I think Half was hurt, and some of the other guys. And I got a call. I was like 2 days in on my vacation, you know. And he was like, "Yo, there's a guy, man. He's killing everybody. Blah blah blah. Can you come back early? We got you." All right. I come up, find out who it is. I get to the lobby. I dapped everybody up. Woo, woo, woo. And when I got to this person who been killing everybody, 'cause remember, he's trying to get on the team, right?
Yeah,
He on the
yeah.
opposite team. So I took everybody's hand, woo, woo. But when I got to him, I gave him the fist bump. Now it's time to go play. So I'm like, guys, a little young, strong Joker, you know. And you back then, you couldn't really go Google nothing. And I wouldn't Google nobody anyway, because at the end of the day, your stats mean nothing to me. It's what you do and present it in my face, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you who that player was, and we battled it out. He got my respect. That was Baby Shaq, yo, young boy.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
Baby Shaq, yo, Baby Shaq, yo. You know what I mean? Like I like his game, man. He was witty, he was quick. Then
What state was that? What state was that again?
Shaq is from like Baltimore, DC area.
Okay, so the
On
DMV area.
you gotta check him out. He had won the now social media here a little bit. He won the I saw him won the MTV, I think it was, or the Magic Johnson, the one-on-one, the battle, the Nike battle joint. So he had game, but we wasn't, it didn't matter who it was. Also had a good battle with Beasley.
Malik
A young
Beasley?
he was a young Beasley. From where Beasley from, Quentin? Baltimore, DC, Beasley, yeah. Mike Beasley, right, Quentin? Yeah, Mike Beasley, a
Mike
young
Beasley
Beasley.
or Malik
Yeah,
Beasley?
yeah. Mike Beasley.
Okay. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
We had a
yeah.
couple battles for Maryland. We had a couple of battles, but I played against. I'm from the era where we played a lot of basketball. Like we was going everywhere to go play basketball. So, coming from out of New Jersey and by way of South Carolina, like we didn't know anything. We didn't play anything about like far as a name and stuff. Like we
Yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
we just was rocking. You know what I mean? And I didn't know anything about you could be a legend one day. That wasn't even like that wasn't like I said once again like I said that wasn't a part of the resume of the street ball of the street ball culture, the street ball community. That just wasn't like you going to play ball. And back then, this is where people got street ball mixed up with show ball. As you look at how AND1 started becoming, and that's why we decided to leave the company. Besides, they was just doing this and the third, but the reason why we left because our credibility began being challenged. Yo, this is fake, because think about it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Back in the day, if you at the park and you got your team, if you lose, you might not unless you that guy or whatever, you might get picked up again. But if you random and you're feeling, you might not play no more that day. So there's no way that I'm gonna allow somebody to come down and do something illegal. In Jersey, I don't know what they said in other places. We just simply said my ball. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Check up. Let me get that. You know what I'm saying? So now we come from, and we was able. It was a blessing. The guys that I wound up picking with AND1 was Half Man, Shane, Aircraft, Future, and then Headache. Each of them guys that I picked, I had a brotherhood before becoming a team member. We had time in. We already knew each other, could complement each other on the court. So by the time we got a chance, an opportunity to take our talents with and start with those 5 cities and playing on the weekend in Chicago and Philly and places like that, it was just we really was pulling up in communities when there was no tour bus, and we was like, yo, where they be playing ball at, Mike? Yo, they be at such and such at 6 o'clock. Word. Yo, we pull up an excursion. We had my man Q and Set Free. They got a camera. We jump out. Yo, we got next. The whole community is like about 10 people out there. This was shout out to Boost Mobile. You see people on their phones. We out there cutting up, getting it in. Woo, woo, woo. Yo, next time you look around, the whole community is there. So we jeopardized, or not jeopardized, but we was able to sacrifice what you was talking about, far as building that. What make you that? How do you become this? How do you do that? We actually was building that blueprint. When people say you're a street ball legend, what's a street ball legend? A street ball legend, I think, is a person who can go on any court, anywhere, anytime, and perform to him or her level to the highest ability under
Right.
stress, under back
Right.
against the wall, under being an underdog. And that is the character that characterizes of a street ball legend. See, and one couldn't make you a street ball legend. They didn't play enough games. It took me. I played 11 years at Rucker Park. My first name was Wawa, the kid from across the water. A couple years later, it was a coming attraction. A couple years later, I 360'd on somebody that was inbound with the ball. I caught the interception, 360'd on them. Outcast changed my name to Main Event. So it took almost 6 years. So you mean to tell me that someone could be a part of something, and in each season you play 25 games, 25 games, and you become a street ball legend? So what I started doing was I started tagging it certified legends. Certified legends means that we really put this work in, and we not only did it for ourselves, but we did it for the culture. That's why we certified, because you just can't play in the AND1 Mixtape Tour and say, yo, I'm a legend. I hate to tell y'all this. Y'all know I keep it 100 because I love y'all. And I think it's time now for the street ball community to start understand what street ball is. It's many different aspects now to play basketball, but you don't get the NBA unless you get the blacktop. You don't get the NFL unless
Right.
you get free fall football when you're playing in the field with your friends.
Right.
Stickball wound up becoming what? Stickball is MLB. So we have to parent our culture and try to defend it, getting back to all the homies coming together to defend the culture vultures. You feel me?
You're
To
right.
defend, and we ownership of our stuff. We become the authors of our narratives, of our future. And we can do it because this is a different generation of our youth. This is a most critical time of them being guided. Who's better for the creator to pick and choose who he have out for this task? This is becoming an MVP. This is an all-star team. The all-star team necessarily doesn't have to score a bucket, but it takes each and every person. When a person get 40 points or get 30 points, he or she can't do it without someone assisting them the ball. Our
That's
assistance
right.
is coming from the most high, it's coming from the creator of the game, the inventor of the sport, the inventor of the soil. So we winning. We never lose, we learn.
To you guys, it was. See, I'm gonna say you got just you and Shane, because I just met y'all. So to y'all, it was bigger than street ball. It was way bigger than, and that's what you're telling me. That's what you're showing me, and exactly same thing with Shane. Shane said to me, this was bigger than becoming a street ball legend. Like exactly what you just mentioned. You know,
Mhm.
it was building what street ball is now. Like to me, see, you're a legend in itself, but I don't. see, I don't when I'm talking around, the homies and even my wife, because my wife was like, my wife is born and raised in North, you know what I'm saying, Central North Jersey. So she really, we two totally like we're so opposite, but it meshes well, right? So when I
The
told us,
balance.
yeah, when I told her, I said, babe, look, I have somebody on a pod that I used to look up to. Like I wanted to be like them, like exactly like them, right? So my wife hears stories here and there, like, oh, Mike, yeah, but we can never tell because your grades are whack. You couldn't, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing to show. Now, I had a bad accident, so I can't really play ball like that. I've had 4 back surgeries, 1 neck surgery, so I can't play ball like that. I can shoot around, but so I was like, wife, that's main event. She was like, yeah, but babe, I don't know who he is though. Like, cause now she became like a Knicks fan. You know what I'm saying? We watch Knicks games. We go to Knicks game. I went to game 4. Was it 3 or 4? I think it was. I forgot. I game 2. I think for the Detroit series, and that was crazy. So now we go to games together. So I had to explain. I was like, look, he's a legend, but I don't see Maine as a street boy. I see him as the pillar. You know what I'm saying? As I see, here's the thing. See, and I don't want to sound that this may sound a little too crazy, but God knows how I'm
It's
saying it.
all love, man.
No. I'm saying like towards God Himself. But you guys are the creators, which is bigger than legends. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a legend. The one that creates the sport makes legends, right? You know what I'm saying? So you have I
Yes.
forgot the creator of ball. Forgot his
Oh, you
name.
talking about Dr. James Naismith?
Okay. So correct. Yeah, right. Fact. Damn, I should have known that. Okay, cool. So you have him, right? He's the creator, but you have legends like Jordan, LeBron. You know what I'm saying? You guys are that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man. Like,
No,
so I
no,
had to
no,
tell
no, no.
wifey that, like, look, he is that. Like, that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Shane. He is that. You know what I'm saying? Because now we she see like I might show her videos of what's the white kid's name, the professor, right?
Professor, yes.
And she might be like, yo, he's nice, like, he's dope. Yeah, but you have to understand, wife, that he came later on, right? He
That
played later.
Professor was my pick.
Wow.
That was my pick. So remember when once again I had broke my leg in a car accident, and during that time, the rim had fell on my head. I had the 18 staples. Everybody
I
when I
remember
was
that.
off the when I was coaching, everybody thought I was out because the rim fell on my head. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that. During that time, when the season was over, I was still going back out to Cali. I'm moving around, and the creator speaks to us in different ways to where we could even imagine, to where you can't prepare or have a defense for it, right? No boxing 1D, 3, 2 zone, none of that, right? So I was in a car accident, I'm an advocate. No drink, don't drink and drive. And the mercy break went through my leg, snapped my leg in half. I broke my tib fib, the biggest bone in your body. So at my peak, I probably had like a 44, 43 inch vertical at the time. Um, the doctors told me that they would be able to get me back to where I could just, play with my kids in the park or whatever. And they had to teach me how to walk again. Long story short, I took a whole year off. But that whole year, my relationship with the creator wasn't about like getting back on the court. He was showing me things around. He was giving me a whole recap of the things that he felt that maybe wasn't right in his eyes. So that's where I get pause, pivot, and pray. I pause, pivot, and I pray to see what's going on, and then you get a chance to see so many different things, and I came back and played
Yeah, you did. I
38-inch
remember.
vertical
I remember.
after a broken leg. So that right there,
And that's
yeah,
still
what was
tough,
it?
man.
Yeah, that
That's
right
still
there,
tough. 38 is still tough, though. That's hops.
yeah.
For
But
some, that's hops.
what he did was he said, "Look, I'm gonna allow you to play again. That's cool. But what did you learn from this? I didn't pray for that. I didn't ask for that. But I do know how powerful God is because I remember my grandmother Nana, both my grandmas, before they go to bed, they're on their knees praying. In the morning when they get up, they pray. And becoming a prayer, not only for myself, for people, um, those prayers was prayers for us, for the future. They was praying for us. Now, my mother always tell me as well, don't be too naive and be careful who you ask to pray for you because you never know exactly what they're praying for.
I love grandma.
You know?
Let's go. Let's go.
So I come from like my grandfather. I heard he passed away. I was when I was before I was born, a year before I was born. He was a pastor, Pastor John Dixon. So my grandmother had us in the church and stuff like that. And I always had what the church did for me was, and I ain't no saying nothing like that. I got in trouble. I was like
Yeah,
crap. I
yeah.
just had
We,
limits. I had limits. I had But when you look at it, I'm talking about being down south, listening to them old hymns. You know what I'm saying? Like that church. You know what I'm saying? The little old wooden church. You know what I mean? So that's what helped me become who I am. But the way that AND1 particular, if you look at it, they portrayed me in a different way. Now I'm gonna tell you something that you may not know. I know you don't know. A lot of people don't know. And this is maybe one of the interviews where I'm saying this. So you remember when everybody used to gather, like if you made the team, whatever, on the AND1 team, everybody would gather at half court,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we would all be huddled up and stuff.
Yep.
Talking about what they're gonna do, and then we say 1, 2, 3, AND1.
Mm-hmm.
I had told everyone, I said, listen, I said, I'm not sure what your faith is or whatever, anything like that, but if you don't know it, you can learn it together if you want to be a part. I had everybody saying the Lord's Prayer, man, for every game. So
Let's
regardless
go.
of how that brand wanted me to portray me as, yes, I was vocal.
Wow.
But I'm also started prayer. Pray for the other team. And we did it. We did it. Everybody did it. I don't know who was what religion, but everybody did it. And we never even talked about that, the players, but they, hey, God want me to be the leader, or we all leaders, or maybe he stuck out a little bit more. But he used me in a different way. And one thing that I can say, if anything, was that the prayer of the culture was already placed. Talk
Right.
about praying. The Lord's Prayer for every game. And like it goes back to like my grandparents. They was praying for us for the future because they knew how it would be. Remember, the schools was okay. You ain't hear about no schools being shot up because they was doing the prayer. They did school prayers.
Yep.
And we ain't trying to force nothing. We're not trying to force nothing on
No,
nobody.
not at all.
What we're saying is that you don't have to wait until your back is against the wall. Because when your back is against the wall, that just means that you have less room for error. But to even have your back against the wall, and if you believe, all you gotta do is go like this, like Lord, you already know. You just waiting. He's waiting. And I used to think these are things that people would say, the Lord working mysterious ways, or this, that, and the third. You know how many times I have been drinking and I'm coming from North Brick City, and I'd be like, yo, I don't remember how I got home, but I drove and I got home straight. You know how many times I was at a red light with my foot on the brake, and the dude asked me what color am I waiting for the light to change because I was there that long? That was God, yo. People be thinking me
Yeah.
saying, yo, those deja vu's and all that. No, that's the spirit with you. That's our angels with us and guiding us because God said they need us assistance. They need assistance. And is there we just get caught up into our everyday worldly things that we think that mean the most to us really doesn't mean anything because if you know who you are on the inside, it doesn't matter what your outside look like because you're going to attract people who may look like you, but you're really going to get those who got what you have inside. And most people have it, but just don't know how to get that. Sometimes we got to hit alt control and delete in our life. In our life, sometimes the engine light come on. Our spiritual engine light come on. Sometimes we get a craving. It don't have to be ice cream and snacks. It could be the word. There's many ways to fulfill our spiritual appetite. We just have to be willing and make it popular, make it cool, make it more talked about God.
You preaching, man. Like I don't. You preaching? I mean, I thought I was gonna be on that type of time today.
Now
So
we
this,
on that time. This is
so
God's
this
time,
is,
man. He
so
has to. I
this
just
is,
like.
yeah. This is how I know that this was. Jeez, man. This is how I know that my fault. My
Nah, that's how
bad.
you shake, man. Nah, brother. Yo,
My
listen.
bad.
This is what we have to. This is what this is. This. Yo, you know what this is right
I'm
now?
choked up
This is
though.
gangster. Yo, nah. This is gangster, yo. This is gangster. This real. This ain't no script.
Nah,
We don't
we
need no
put
script. Why we need a script? Yo, we got the person who create the script. Why we need it? Why we need it? We don't even know the producer.
nah.
It's already produced. We just acting out the play, man. This
And
real. This ain't no. Hey, yo, let
yeah,
me. This real, V. This
and
ain't no. This
and
gonna
I'm
become normal. This gonna become normal.
yeah,
This is gonna become normal. This is
yeah,
gonna become normal. Like, yo, let me call my bruh. Yo, call bruh. Yo, call sis. Like this is what's gonna help change anything that we see that as far as illnesses in our community. See, we look for the government and this and that to help us. Yes, we'll take our resources, but the thing is this: y'all can't deal with our issues because y'all deal with our issues from a statistics point of view. We
right.
have to be able to deal with our issues from going through it from your testimony. Look, Jesus went through pain.
Yeah,
We have to. The creator allowed us to experience both sides of whatever it may be. He had us experience both sides. Some people only experience one side. Some straddle the fence, but we was able to experience both sides, right? And then understand those experiences. And he gave us balance. Why did he give us balance? He gave us balance because we're gonna be talking to different walks of life. That's it.
man. I would have never thought. I, I'll be such an advocate for Jesus, like a disciple, a true disciple. I'm not a saint neither. You know, we both can agree to that. We know saints. We just believe in Jesus so much, and you know, who would have thought that? You know, I found Jesus 2 years ago. I can't even speak because I'm choking up, man.
It's love, brother.
Damn.
That's the power. That's what he do. That's what he do. Hey, listen, yo, when we this
Damn.
look, gangsters, right? Who we have our youth and everybody thinking is gangster and gully, right? They'll never see it. We'll never see this conversation. You know why? Because it isn't an image. It's not a script that we said we're going to script out and we're going to read it from the teleprompter. No, this is coming from the blessings of the Creator's spirit and His energy, and He's allowing it. Gangsters not going to do that because they have to say that they stand up and they firm. Hustlers ain't going to do that. They ain't going to tell you that they shed a tear when they just lost half a bird and they owe a connect. They ain't going to let you see that tear because their image. There is no image. We are
Nah,
the image of the image maker. So
I
we're gonna shed a tear, B.
I played that whack image for years. I played that whack tough image for years, man, and it is not it.
It gets no tougher than this. This tough
No,
right here. This
I'm
is the
choking up. You know, I'm
this
trying to
this the
speak, but I
yo,
can't.
this the quiet things. This the quiet things that we must say out loud.
You know, I'm
It's all
trying to.
right.
I'm like telling him, like, please let me speak. You know, um, yeah. Who would have thought that it would lead to this, right? Like, you know, but I'm wow. Ugh. You know, um, yeah. You know,
Working, man. These
again,
is tears
man.
of joy, man. Tears of
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
happiness. This is like, this is champagne pouring, bruh.
Yeah, the true,
This
true
is it.
champagne pouring.
This
Yep.
is it. This is dope. This is you ain't gonna see your favorites, bro. This ain't
I met him 2 years, man, and the best 2 years of my life. You know, he said it says it in scripture that you still gonna suffer because he suffered first. And you know, you're going to get mocked. Family might leave, friends definitely. You know, for some reason you start with 20, and then you end up with two, maybe one. Right? I'm talking about friends, and that's exactly what
yes.
happened to me. You know, I ended with I was with a whole lot. I was with thousands. I mean, I became what they called a leader, and I had under 6,000 people, you know what I mean, that will listen to what I had to say. And one thing, man, wow. One thing that I can say is that even during those times, I never used my quote unquote power for evil, right? So I was always cool with, remember I told you I came back to New York and
Yes.
I noticed, damn, you got a blood chilling with a Crip. That's weird. You got a Latin King chilling with a blood, you know, that's weird, right? But I was like, yo, I'm all for it. Like, yeah, we all black and brown. Like, we come on, let's do it. Let's go, right? Because we going up against, and I'm gonna keep it gangster. We going up against, you know, I mean, now our skin tone for sure. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? I don't want to get banned, but or maybe
Our enemy,
copyrighted.
our enemy sometimes look like the person we see in the mirror.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Jeez. Wow. Wow. Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. And you know, I had to go through and here's the thing too, man. Sometimes I sit down and think and I'm like, and it's rare, but I do question. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I mean, we're human at the end of the day, we're human, right? So you start asking these questions like one of the questions I can't answer, right? Because I'm not God and I don't have the ability to even answer this question. But the main question they ask me when they find out I'm a follower of Christ is, oh, so why does he allow cancer in kids? You know, I don't. This is what I say. I say four things. I don't know, right? You know what I'm saying? Three things. I don't know. I don't know. I truly don't. You know, but I do know that he gives you peace no matter it doesn't matter what situation, what he gives you that peace. And this is what I tell people, like when you're in a relationship with Christ and you go through these, let's say these drastic things, right? Whether it's a illness or a disease or you lose someone, he gives you that peace. He gives you that comfort. Yes, of course, you're gonna, you know, you're going to be sad or you're going to have sorrow, but at the end of the day, it's not the same as someone that's not in a relationship with him, right? Mm-hmm. That other person might want to kill somebody because they're so upset that they lost their parent. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The difference between me and them is that I can go to him and say, please give me comfort because I'm going through a lot and you know this, right? You gave up your son, which I'm sure you went through a lot giving up your son first, right? So give me that same peace, right? Because he needed, I'm sure he needed peace, right? Because you gave up your son for us, for the world. John 3:16. For God so loved the world, and whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So, you know, that's the difference. And this is, again, the way he's using me, man, is crazy because the church that I go to now is in Parsippany. I don't know how far is that from Linden, you know what I mean? But
about 40 minutes. Yep.
So you know exactly what town I'm talking about.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, I go to Parsippany. I go to Liquid Church. And man, as soon as I walked in, they seen the way I dressed, right? The jewelry, because that don't mean nothing. All this don't mean nothing to him at all. That don't mean nothing. As a matter of fact, he would rather you dress like that because you can get to the people quicker. You can go to. Who would you rather listen to? Someone in a suit and tie or someone looking like me? Someone looking like me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I go to church. As soon as I walk in, first day, man, first day. This is crazy. This is a testimony. I walk in, they look at me. And homie walked right to me. He was like, yo, I know you've been through a lot, dog, and I know you have one of the illest testimonies. We need you to speak to the kids. This is my first day, man. I'm like, yo, how do you know? He said, look, the spirit guided me to you because I already know your story is ill and they need to hear it. ASAP because these kids are lost. I'm like, wow. So I guess some of the kids come from Piscataway. Piscataway, I heard, is bad, right? It's a
Yeah, the way New York, Brunswick got,
you know what I'm saying?
everywhere got their areas.
So yeah,
Yep.
he was like, oh, Piscataway is bad. Yeah,
Was it Piscataway or Patterson?
I think he
It could, because Patterson is closer right there. Piscataway is more towards like New Brunswick, where Rutgers is at.
so it must have been Patterson, yeah, for sure.
It could have been Piscataway or Piscataway too.
So I was like, oh, word. I said, listen, I'm from New York, so I really don't know. The only place I know in Jersey, because I used to come to Jersey a lot, is Newark. You know what I'm saying? I used to come to Newark because there's a lot of Crips in Newark too. So I used to come to Newark. I used to come chill with the homies and go back to NY. But so that's the only place I know besides, your typical hack and sack that's right across the river. You know what I mean? You really don't know. I don't, so I'm starting
Wayne
to get
and all that.
you know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to get to know Jersey now because of my wife. And, my wife is from Summit. So from Short Hills, like around that area.
Short Hills. Yep.
You know what I mean? So
right before you get up, like by y'all about 10, 15 minutes from the city.
Right, correct. Yeah. So, I got to experience this side of Jersey because this is where I'm at. I'm in Morris County, so I got to experience this side of Jersey. Super cool. This is what I tell the homies now. Yo, the ops, I never had ops in New York, period, though, but my ops now is deers and raccoons and red foxes. You know what I'm saying? That's what I have to worry about. And it's cool. That's I love it, man. I love it. You know what I mean? But this is how he's using me. He's using me to talk to kids, and I'm all for it. You know what I mean? And again, man, this is me. This is my true self. I get emotional every single second because I know what he did for me. Besides changing my life, man, because he changed my life in every aspect of the word change. Financially, spiritually, physically, you name it. I've been retired for 7 years, man.
That's a blessing, man.
Like, I mean.
Oh, so I got to give one of these shirts to you then, man. You know what I mean? One of my OG partners, he was from Brooklyn. He passed away, and his wife gave me a whole bunch of these shirts that he had. My dad, God rest him as well. It's called Retired Slave, Never Again. And on the back, it got the back of it is crazy. Like the back of it is like real. The first scripture says about like the first joint says is about God, and it break the chains of all these different things. The shirt is actually might be a manuscript of what we talked about today in this one shirt. I'm gonna make sure I definitely get one to you, man.
Yeah. I can go. Pick it up, whatever you want, man. I definitely gotta get your number after this, though. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And we talk we talk more about spirituality and stuff like that. But yeah, this is how he's using me, man, and I'm accepting it. A lot of people don't accept it. That's another problem. A lot of people are too what's the word? Too combative, too they don't allow the spirit to work through them. I'm letting it flow, man.
What they do is like some people there's so many different distractions, like with like things is happening, and they go over here, they seek over there, they seek over there, they seek over there, they seek over there, not knowing that there is one source. Whomever you believe your creator is, there's a source that has everything that you need to where the competition come, and we so afraid because we rather deal with so many different and try different things to not knowing that it's one thing we could go to. Is one thing that we can go to and answer your question with the bro. I can't answer that question where he asked about because I got one of my brothers, man. He said the same thing. Well, why would God allow this to happen? Why would this happen or that happen? Right? This is the thing. Number one, He loves us and He will give us things that He know may have an outcome. Right? He loves us that much. He's a loving God. But also, He already knows who He's going to allow to endure certain type of pain or certain type of things. See, the doctors call it this stuff. They don't know what this stuff. That's a man terminology. They come up and say this is called that. This person passed away because of that, because of that. At the end of the day, the only one who knows who could write that ticket is God. That's it. It's over. That's it. So he didn't allow us to be able to comprehend everything that we ask him, because if we only use a certain portion of our brain. So if I said to God, why did you let the little girl get such and such and such a God? Where was you at, God? If he was to say, I'm going to sit you down and I'm going to explain to you, my brain would explode because I don't have the capacity to obtain that information. But what he can do is, it goes back to what we said. It depends on where your base is at. If your belief faces that, you're never going to question me. But from a human standpoint, I want you to question me. From a human standpoint, I'm going to give y'all something that y'all call emotions. When someone that we physically be with, and when they're no longer here with us, God allowed them and allowed us to be on what they call borrowed time. And he's letting us know that no matter what the doctor said, the reason was, right? The doctor said it was this, or they said it was that, or he or she got shot down, or this, that, and the third. He is the one who says that I'm going to comfort you. I'm going to comfort you. But even in your state of mind, if you didn't give a chance to give and say it to me, and God, he know what was in your heart. So when we say, oh man, I miss him, he gave us memories, man. He gave us good memories. He gave us the bad memories, because you can't have something, you can't enjoy something at a cold that's supposed to be cold, enjoy something that's supposed to be hot. You will never know the difference if you didn't have introduction to both.
Yep.
We have to endure certain pains and tribulations to appreciate the blessing. It's all God's grace and mercy. That's all it is. It's his grace and mercy, and he uses different ones to go and spread his word. Why, Jesus, why you not worried? The boat is rocking and this and that. Why you not worried? He's down there sleeping. Why should he worry? He already knew what it's going to be. Just calm the seas. Come. I can't get no fish. I've been out here all day. Da, 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 da. Put it over there. We have to be able to believe, and it's
Yeah.
just like us as human beings. We don't chase our talents we see nor hear. No one supports our talents that we see nor hear.
Yep.
God gave us all certain talents. The talent never was to compete with one another, but to sharpen one another's iron. Compete with me, not with me. We compete together. We build together. Someone may be perfect at building the foundation. He's not going to let everybody build the foundation. Everybody have different attributes, because it's going to take different pieces of who's the molder, who's going to do the windows, who's going to do the roof. He allows us to engage with different people in our lives, because we all are all obtaining that same goal. Life is a puzzle. Some are our own life puzzles, but some puzzles you got people in the real life world that's trying to fit a piece in a puzzle that just can't fit. You have to engage yourself with other people who got pieces, physical pieces, and say, brother, I need to talk to you. Yo, I've been looking for this answer forever. Boom, that piece of that puzzle just fitted. We have to be able to share with one another things that may not benefit us individually, but can benefit you. We
Yep.
have to stop being selfish. I'm going to tell you my bad time. And what's special about this conversation, man, is that we talked about 5% of sports. I'm really not into sports. I like boxing, martial arts. I watch a little basketball, football because of my boys in them. But the message here today, or as they say, the sermon here today, there's no collection plate. There's no, we're going to keep stopping this and that. No, this was the sermon for today. The sermon for today is, what will you take from this? What can you get from this? These are some jokers who, man, when you talked about, you saw the different homies hanging out. One of my experiences I had, and this opened my eyes up completely. We hanging out, my guys, they pyro, right? And I'm like, what y'all doing? You know, big Ace, big homie crip, you know? I'm like, and I said, oh yeah, this is yeah, it's different. Right? And I'm seeing movement, right? And then I came back over here. on the East Coast side, and then SWM, and I'm from that era. I'm from that era, Soundview, and I was able to navigate because I may be locked in with one side, but I'm locked in for the purposes, the soul purposes. God allowed me to be locked in for the sole purpose of what this is. Now, I love, because I was able to see, look, when we go to California, to the motherland, we're not tourists. It's different being a tourist. I'm not a tourist when I go to the West Coast.
Right. Right.
I'm a contributor, a contributor to help whatever it is that I can help. So my point is, I was able to sit down with some people. One of my partners, my business partners, Mr. Idea, we was able to sit down and actually see the blueprint of what Nipsey was doing. People looked at it as from a side because of who the presenter was. But sometimes we lose focus of the message of who the presenter is. The
Right.
message was, I'm bringing people together. You have blue and you have red and you have this and you have that, but who's going to be the voice? They understood that Nip was going to be the voice when you start listening to his music, and we don't find out who the person is until they're gone. What's the message we was trying to get? What was the message? The person, when I first started hearing about drill music, the first thing I did was I want to see who invented drill music. He's dead. So that let me know that our youth who want to be an artist, rapper, I don't knock nobody hustle, but my thing is this. If I want to be an artist in 2025 and I'm still talking about I'm coming from the gully, I'm coming from the hood, and whoop-de-woo, I'm flipping this, I'm flipping that. Our rappers before that failed us because they told us that they was getting money. They never went back and rehabilitated their community. So if we still have a rapper talking about that stuff that was talked about 20 years ago, somebody failed us. Either they failed us or the powers that be goes back to that category, control chaos. They
Right.
taking life insurances on these guys. They creating these narratives, these beefs. People don't understand that social media is a bunch of people opinions boiled into something, and you still have to do your research on something someone said. It's a form of entertainment that's spewing out into reality.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Subliminally, frequencies, the sound, the melodies that we listening to, the subliminal messages that we getting. Subliminal. Why can't we have subliminal positive messages that's normal in our community? That's what we need. We got to trick our own people to do the right thing. I want to feel bad doing the wrong thing. That's what I do. If I do the wrong thing, I feel bad. I never want to feel bad doing the right thing. It's crazy.
Preaching, man. You're preaching, man.
My bad, bro, man. But
No. Listen, I love it. I'm so. I mean, you, you're just expressing yourself. Like you're giving the people the people your opinion on how you see things, and listen a lot. If they don't grasp it, then they pretty far gone. But there's always room, to get out of that hole, that rabbit hole, man. Because a lot of people are really, really down there. Like they living down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do now, man. Like I've said it a couple of times. I'm trying to wake these people up. Like, please, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, I mean, we've been killing each other for years, right? But we can change that. We
I
can.
want to
Yes.
see the rules. I mean, I know being mature now that the number one rule into whether it's banging, street, whatever they call street, the number one rule is that there is no rule. So is it time to rewrite that handbook? Do that handbook come from the penal system? Everybody that's in prison isn't there just because they did something bad, you got different situations, this, that, and third. But who's going to be the authors of that? Because the authors of it right now, you got to remember this. What we're doing, I don't like to use the word trying to do because we're on a whole different, we're on like God's frequencies, which is all frequencies. So what we have to keep in mind, what we're trying to do and what we're doing, not try, what we're doing, being allowed to do from the Creator, is that He's using us in ways where people gonna have to listen, right? The old school era, you hear people say, if I could get one. See, it's different now. Whether they hear us or listen, more than one may see. I'm also a firm believer of it's not how many, right? It's not how many. It's who's there. Because the all-star team that we building, not necessarily gonna always consist of how many. It's gonna consist of who. Because you have a whole bunch of who's who have a lot. The key
Right.
to it is how do we come to a common ground to where there's no conflict, this, that, and the third. Now, you can believe in what you believe in. You're not no atheist. You believe in some high, you believe in some high, that's cool. But at the end of the day, we have to tie in being a humanitarian. We have to tie into what it means to not be perfect, but to know that know who your coach is. They say your coach is just as good as the team, as good as the coach. So we have the coach of all coaches, the king of all kings. It's just how do we get that relationship? How do we get that relationship to where I know no matter position you tell me to go play, you already know I can do it, but I have to. How do I find that I can do it? How do I praise you? Like how do I pray? How do I ask for forgiveness to see forgiveness? What does that mean? I've been hearing these things. How do I do it? Right? We ask them for that. But we don't take time because if I'm in the car with my homie or whoop-de-woo, we're not even having this conversation. And then they're
Right.
gonna look at you like, oh, that's the Muslim brother, or you're the Christian now, or this and the third.
Right.
Nah. I
Right.
might take a sip or I may not take a sip because this isn't built off of what I'm doing. This is built off of the outcome of what I'm going through. The position the creator have put me in. I'll play all 5 positions. When somebody say what position you play, they don't know I'm a little witty because I'm gonna say I could play every position. Now you have to be specific with me. What position do you play on the court? That's different. But if you ask me what position do I play them all. Because every time you don't have to be in the lead or the popular position. The popular position also have to have others in the position that make you popular. What made you popular? And what are you doing with that position? Once they tap in, and I ask everybody this, whatever religion, whatever it is, if you questioning yourself or question the creator, I want you to praise him, call on him when you're at the lowest that you feel at the lowest in your life. Listen,
That's
I
right.
say it again. Praise him. When you feel as though you're at the lowest, when the bank account is on negative 000, the gas look like is on E, but if the person on the passenger side, he or she might say, I don't look like it's on E, but the driver can see it's on E. When we don't know how this bill gonna get paid, we don't know how this meal gonna get done. That's when you praise him and say, thank you, Lord. As my dad got older, he was going through whatever his illness. He wound up dying of pancreatic cancer. He didn't want to tell us, but he always, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. And I'm just listening to him. Woo, woo. But I understand it now.
Yeah.
These are the times right now where we just want to say thank you. Thank you. And people are going to say, why are you thanking him? You just got fired from your job. Oh, that door closed. I got 2 other offerings. I went from getting fired to having my own position, to having my own company. So now we thank him. So when we see that things had changed to where we just said, yo, I went to work and I got my check because I worked. No, that ain't what happened. The creator gave you the ultimate blessing, which is the blessing of waking you up and giving you breath so that you can have an opportunity to do anything you want because of free will. But if you believe you're gonna pick your situations wisely. Hey, God, I didn't know what to do. I had to do it. He gonna ride with you, but he also knows how it's gonna go because of what was in here. Some defends themselves. Some have to defend themselves, right? Wait. Some have to defend themselves. Some become a victim of something, right? But
Yeah.
why do every time we hear these words, a victim, a homicide, or a retaliation, why do it always have to be negative? We are victims of love. We want to become victims of inspiration, inspiring others. We want to become victims. See, it's words that could change the situation. Yo,
Oh yeah.
yo, if I say to you right now, bro, I was a victim last night. Yo, what happened, man? Whoop-de-whoop. Nah, brother, no, I was a victim of being able to get my physical, my spiritual meal and my appetite right. I was a victim of hearing something good from my brother. I was a
Yeah.
victim of being in the presence of some misguided youth. I was a victim because I needed someone to talk to. I was a victim of that.
Wow. I think we've only we I don't even know what to say, man. I'm to be honest with you, right? I mean, I have to pick up my son now, but
That's tracks.
yeah, we gonna exchange number. You know what I mean? For
This
sure.
what we
Yeah.
gonna do. This what we gonna do. We gonna reciprocate this. Right now I'm working on my we should be done. I'm gonna let you know when we gonna have the grand opening. It's called Main Event and Friends. It's a content creator center where I'm gonna have different of my shows there, podcasts and different shows. And once again, it takes longer because we're trying to do something for everybody, for those who want to be involved. People want to do content, don't have nowhere to go, they can't afford the cameras. We have a Main Event and Friends content center in Woodbridge, New Jersey at Woodbridge Mall. And I'm gonna definitely have you come on out and support that. Me and my
I'm
partner,
here to
Mark
support.
Bullock, is on. We're gonna finish this spiritual workout, this spiritual layup line, this spiritual all-star game. We're gonna finish it, and we just want to thank the creator. And I just want to say to my ballers and also to all of my shooters, whatever you're shooting, make sure your next shot is over your opponent and never at your opponent. God bless each and every one of y'all, and thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to Arcox Production. Love is love. It could be no other way. All know, all love, never opposite.
Peace, brother. I thank you so much, and I'm gonna hit you up right now. As a matter of fact, is that cool?
Yo, the doors to the court is open, baby.
Peace.
Peace, King.